911, what's your emergency? 911, what's your emergency?
Be advised, car 4 has control of the pursuit. Proceed with caution.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing? It's good to see all of you. I'm going to turn off a light. Just a minute. There we go. There we go. That looks better. How are you? It's been a bit. It's been a minute. I was looking when I was setting up this live, and I'm like, it's been 10 days, you guys. It's been 10 days since I've seen all of you. I hope everybody had a good holiday and that you were able to get some downtime from life in general. For those of you that are struggling, whether it be with health issues or grief, loss, whatever, know that you are in my heart and my prayers. I think about everybody who doesn't have family to spend on holidays, and they don't have, that type of connection. And there are tons of people out there like that. And so I always think about them when I'm with my own family, because family is everything to me. It's so important. I'm so excited to be here with you guys tonight. I'm also excited to finally wrap my head around where I'm taking my channel. Because I was really struggling with it on what I wanted to do. The Delphi case, in my opinion, is close to being over. I think that we're not going to have that much to talk about with Delphi between now and the trial in October. And yes, I started my channel because of the Delphi murders, but I really feel that I can do a lot of good with some other cases as well. And Flora is top. I have done many videos. If you guys haven't seen my Flora content, please go onto the website on YouTube and look up my Flora videos because they're all out there. I have covered the case extensively, but I haven't covered it for a while. And I was so wrapped up with what was going on with Delphi, and I really didn't give Flora its just service, and I feel bad about that. And after my whole meeting Susan Hendricks, becoming friends with her, having her on the show, her putting me in contact with Cheryl McCollum, and Cheryl putting me in contact with Nicole, everything has just exploded around Flora. I have gotten national attention on it. People are interested in this case. This case is going places. Trust me, there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes. And there's going to be a lot of things coming for the Flora case and the girls. This case has not gotten nearly enough coverage, not just regionally, but nationally. We need people talking about this case. We need people angry about this case. We need people to stand up and say that these 4 sisters deserve justice just like anybody else. I get the whole situation behind arson cases and that they are some of the hardest cases to prove. And I understand all of that, but somebody out there knows. Somebody out there knows what happened. They either were there, participated in, or were told about it after the fact. I firmly and absolutely believe that. And we have people who know. And if you know, I don't know how you live with yourself, not stepping up and talking and giving your tips to law enforcement to move this case forward so that we can get justice for these 4 sisters and for Galen, because they absolutely deserve it. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. Glad that you're with us. Hey, Frank Meister, how are you? Good to see you, my dear. Haven't talked to you in a while. Miss you. Hey, Gail, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hey, Mitzi. Good to see you. Hi, CJK. Thank you for your comments and your kindness on my Discord. I appreciate you. Aw, CJK, you're so kind. Hey, Steffa. Good to see you, my dear. I miss you. Haven't seen you for a while, and I'm always looking forward to having your comments in my chat. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you guys for all being here. I love seeing all my moderators show up when I do a live stream, and especially Flora. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, but I could show you numbers that would floor you about how many views my Delphi content gets compared to the Flora content. Hey, Priscilla. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Hi, Jill. I hope you're feeling well, thinking about you. Hey, Mustang 1965. Good to see you as well. Hey, Jinx. How are you, my dear? So good to see you and have you here as well. Yes, Tech Death is very talented. I sometimes feel like, wouldn't you guys just like to have a concert by some of these guys that we know that play music? Tech Death being one of the tops of my list. He is so talented, and you can feel in his music the talent, in my opinion. And I never get tired of listening to him play. Never get tired of it. Hey, Rescue. How are you, my dear? I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. I hope that passes. I hope you don't have a summer cold or worse. I hope it's nothing super serious. Hey, Derek, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hi, Red Queen. How are you? Always so good to see you guys. I'm just excited to have you all here. Yeah, Gail, I heard. And my prayers are with all of you guys. I hope that that you're spared and that it doesn't do as much damage as they say, you know. Aw, Gail, thank you so much for gifting a membership to the channel. That's so kind of you. So awesome. I appreciate it. Someone check out. Hey, Kathy. Welcome, my dear. Thank you so much for being here. Kathy is super special, you guys. She just is. There's just not a lot. You cannot say anything bad about Kathy. She has these girls in her heart, and she works tirelessly every single day for Galen and for justice for Flora. And it's coming, Kathy. It's coming. I know it feels like it's been forever, and I know it feels like there's just been like this gag order, kind of, even though there isn't a gag order in this case. It feels like there is because you can never get authorities or people in authority to talk or discuss the case. I guarantee you, with the pressure that's coming, they're going to be moving. I just can see it. And it's, Flora is one of those cases that just breaks your heart at every turn. Watching the dash cam video that Indie Archive put out. If you guys haven't seen Indie Archive's video, it is the full video of it. And I showed it on my last live. We watched it. So yeah, it's pretty incredible to watch. I could spend hours just going over the video and all the things that are wrong with it. But yeah, we need to get people fired up about Flora and start covering it. We need content creators that are talking about Flora every single day, just like we've got people trying to create content from Delphi that, quite frankly, it's I'm sorry, but I feel that they have their guy. We're going to see that case go to court and go from there. Let's see. Yeah, go to Firehouse Fan Club, guys. That's Nicole's YouTube channel, and subscribe there. Things are going to be happening. Hey, JDR, how are you? Good to see you. We can't give up hope. We can't give up on Galen. She has had so many people give up on her and just totally treat her horribly through all of this. And we need to champion justice for her. And she deserves our utmost respect. And she has it from me for sure. Gail, thank you again for the gifting of the membership. So, Jinx let it out of the bag, but Galen is coming on next Saturday night. She will be my guest, my very special guest on my show. So please, guys, mark your calendars for 8 p.m. Central Standard Time next Saturday night. Galen will be here with me. Nicole will be here with me, with Galen as well. And we're going to talk to her, and I'm going to talk to her at length about her girls. I want her to introduce them to us and talk about who these beautiful, beautiful children were, um, and the things that they dreamed of and hoped for, and everything that they lived for. They were lights in her life, and they were lights in a lot of people's lives there in Flora, because they would stand on the street corner and they would wave to everyone. And, Galen's house sat right on the main street that runs right through Flora. So a lot of people knew the girls and saw the girls. Um, and so, yeah. And Galen is, I finally connected with her, and we talked over text. I'm going to talk with her this week by phone, but I already feel a connection to her, and she's easy to talk to. So I think that is a plus as well. And I'm just really anxious to um, have her with me and be able to convey to her my sincere um, love of her girls and justice for them, and the fact that I feel that they've been robbed of that in so many ways for the last 8 years, by the lack of coverage of their case and the lack of people listening to Galen. Um, and and it's over. We're turning that train around, and it's going to be a very, very cool, you guys. There's so much going on. Hey, Sean, how are you? So good to have you with me, and thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Annabelle, good to have you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, thank you. Um, from what I heard, Steph, it's supposed to land somewhere in South Texas. Um, I heard Corpus Christi, but I don't know if that's true or not. Gail will know more. um, let's see. Yeah, it is a hard video to watch, but it is important to watch it. And I can't tell you how many times I have, and I usually cry every time I watch it. It brings tears to my eyes. Um, Lisa, taking care of our moms is such a busy, busy job, but one that is so rewarding. At least it was for me. I took care of my mom after her stroke and moved her into our house. And, my husband took care of her, and we just made it an effort, and I did for 3 years until I could no longer do it and had to move her to a nursing home, and I kept her there. She was in the nursing home for a year. She survived before she passed away. It's very difficult caring for our parents, but it is very rewarding. I wouldn't give back those days or memories that I have from that for anything. My mother and I were very, very close. Oh, awesome, Sean. That's great to hear. I'm so glad that you're back to work. That's got to make you feel better. That's wonderful news. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Yes, absolutely. Galen's army. Absolutely. It's so true. Um, yeah. Hey, Audra. Hello. Welcome. Yes, absolutely. Um, yes, CJK, we are wishing her the very best, and she's doing really well. Um, Life is looking up for her in so many ways, and she's doing well, and she's found her voice. And she's just amazing. She's resilient, and she's stronger than most people could ever be, having gone through what she's gone through. She is. She is. Absolutely. And it's time that she get the recognition for the wonderful mother that she was, and that she gets the recognition for all that she did to live for those girls, because there's been a horrible narrative put out there on the streets of Delphi and the community in general, of Flora and Carroll County. There was a narrative that the Indiana State Police and the Carroll County Sheriff's Department put out there, leaking little bits and tidbits of information about the case that made her and painted her in a horrible light. And people ran with that. And for that reason, people didn't talk about the case. Believe it or not, you guys, I was in a chat not too long ago, about a month ago, with Gray Hughes, and I was talking to him. He popped in on Frank Meister's channel, and we were talking to him, and I begged that man that night to go in and look at Flora and cover it. Absolutely. I sent him all the information on Flora and everything. And you want to know what he said to me by email, guys? He sent me an email and he said, "It looks like the state police think that the mom was involved." He didn't even have the current, he didn't even bother to look at the current information, because I sent him the information that in May of 2023, Doug Carter came out and said that Galen was not a suspect in this case. So we have one of the largest YouTubers out there covering true crime cases and stories, and who has been doing it for most part one of the longest ones out there, and especially for Delphi, and he refuses to cover Flora. Go figure. Says a lot about the person, doesn't it? But it goes back to that narrative that has been put out there, and all the false information that's out there about Flora, and people have just chose to believe it. And it's just wrong, and it's wrong on every level. Oh, you're not late, Maureen. Never late. Never late to my channel. Hey, Tech Def. How are you, my dear? So good to see you. So good to see you. Hey, Peggy Day. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Richcraft, I'm really sorry to hear that. It's really tough. I lost my mom in 2017, and I lost my dad in 2017. I lost them a month apart, and it caused me to spiral into a horrific depression for quite a few years. It wasn't until about 2 years ago that I was able to start pulling myself out of that. It was very difficult, very difficult. Gail says the hurricane's going to pick up strength and turn toward Houston, where her son and his wife lives. It will continue to parts of East Texas where they live, and it's supposed to hit near Corpus. I thought it was supposed to hit near Corpus. My sister lives in Houston, and I have a godson who lives in Houston. So my heart goes out to everyone that's in the path of this storm. Yeah, she certainly has found her voice. She certainly has. I'm really excited about her coming on my show. I'm so excited about having her next Saturday night, and it will be a good conversation. Hey, Miss Amethyst Dreams. I don't believe there's any connection between Flora and Delphi, except for the fact that Carroll County is where Flora, Indiana is. So we have all the same players when it comes to prosecutors, the sheriff, and the the local people that all live and work in that area. I don't believe there's a connection with the person that did the crime. No. Yes, it is way past time for her to get justice and recognition, Audrey. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. She did everything possible for her 4 girls. The cheer that they did alone from the girls were involved in the Lafayette cheer group. And I was trying to think, I can't, it's absolutely just going out of my brain. I knew what it was called. But anyway, she took them to Lafayette for their cheer competitions and their cheer stuff. And that alone is a huge commitment for parents, both time-wise and money-wise. So that is great that she was doing that for those girls. Absolutely. I do believe that they should be held liable for the narrative getting out of control. The fact that they let it go for 7 years, nearly, before they absolutely corrected it, the damage was already done. They already had painted her in a horrible light, made her seem like she was possibly implicated somehow in the crime itself. They talked about where she lived, the house that she lived in being a drug house. All kinds of things came out that were not true, that were horribly wrong. And yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. Absolutely. And I agree with that. Absolutely, he needs to look at this with open eyes and a mind. But I'm telling you what he sent me after I sent him all that information, after he was on Frank Meister, and it ticked me off at him. It instantly ticked me off with him again, because I'm just like, really? You're not even looking at the newest news that I've sent you, you know? So it's crazy. And yeah. Oh yeah, he absolutely he was on that bandwagon. Absolutely. He was in the pockets of the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, in my opinion, and was believing everything that was coming out of their mouths. And I'm sorry, but when you look at these 2 cases, if there's a case that screams corruption, it's Flora. Not so much Delphi, in my opinion. It's Flora. So who wouldn't want to cover that, right? Hey, Fire and Ice. Good to see you. Um, it's not about caring for him, Audra. It's about the fact that he has such a huge base and a voice. He has a huge following. He's on national television shows now, talking about cases, and his opinion matters. And when you have that kind of platform, you need to be using it for good. And he talks about all the good he does with the money that he raises for his foundation's work with cold cases and the DNA funds and all of that. And I commend the man for doing that. I really and honestly do. He wouldn't have to do any of that. He could just take in the money, keep it, pocket, whatever. But for him to just not want to cover this case, to me, my feeling is, if you don't want to cover this case, you need to take a look at yourself in the mirror, because it screams racism. And I'm going to put it right out there. It screams racism. Nobody talks about Black girls and Black children that are being robbed of their lives, period, in this country, let alone this case. Women of color do not get the same coverage nationally, locally, regionally as white women. It's absolutely proven. You don't even have to really go that far to see the statistics. And to deny that is to deny your own racism. People can be racist and not even know it. So, and that's what's disgusting is that Kathy's talked to him and he believes she did it. He doesn't even know anything about the case. He hasn't even looked at the case, Kathy. I don't believe it. I don't. For 1 minute, I don't believe he's looked at this case. Um, no, we're talking about, I was talking about Gray Hughes. um, yeah, that's what I hear. I don't watch him much anymore. I just can't. So, um, no, as far as I know, they have not either, and either has I don't think Grizzly has either. And if she did, it was a blur, like a blip on her radar. Um, I hope so. I hope everybody that thinks about this case in that way ends up with egg on their face. I absolutely. Um, because Galen Rose didn't have anything to do with this. She nearly lost her own life in that fire. Um, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to go catch up with the chat too, guys. So bear with me if I haven't. If you want my attention or whatever, try to highlight something in the chat for me. But yeah. Thank you, Annabelle. I'm looking forward to next Saturday night with Galen. It's always good to talk with the locals because I do believe that the locals know a lot more than what they talk about. But one of the things you have to remember is that location and where that city is, it's very, very white America. It's rural America, and they are racists. There are racist people that live there. And how Galen was treated while she was there, she will talk about, and how it made her feel. And yeah, she came from a large metropolitan city in Missouri, Jefferson City, and moved from there to Flora. So it had to be completely eye-opening for her in so many ways. Yeah, Coach Kev is working with us on Flora, and um, he is a wealth of information. If you guys have anything that you want to send to him, please feel free, because, yeah, Coach Kev is one of the good guys. Thank you, Jinx. I am too. I'm really excited about it. Um, yeah, what's the cheer team name? I'm trying. There it is. Thank you. The Lafayette Diamonds. Yep. The Lafayette Diamonds. I'm sorry. I hope it's not me. I hope. I hope it's not me. I hope you guys can hear me. Hi, John. So good to have you with me, my dear. Yeah, that's true. You are right. He does know how um to poke people's buttons, or get people's ire up or whatever. But the thing about Gray that I do like is that he's fact based, um, which bothers me about Flora, because if he would look at the facts, he would know right away that mom is not the person that did this crime. um, Derek, I really, really wonder about Stephanie and Maya's death in the house fire. I I looked at it, I deep dove it. It's very, very concerning to me because of the fact that she was a polygrapher who polygraphed not only um, people for the Flora case, but also people for Delphi. And that leads you, I mean, I don't want to make that huge jump, but that fire is undetermined. They never were able to figure out what happened. And again, if you go back and you look at my Flora content and my Delphi content, you'll find 2 years ago, I talked about all the different fires in this tri-county area. There's a 3-county area surrounding um, Carroll County that have an enormous amount of fire deaths. The fire deaths happen to be female children. And when you look at the national average for fire deaths over this area, because they do keep track of that, it's like over 200% higher in these areas than in the national average. And yes, Peggy, I absolutely believe that. And I don't know that the case was race related as far as why the fire was set, but I think it's highly possible that it was, or it is insurance fraud. Insurance fraud is a huge part of my thinking of what it could be. And there's also a person that happened to be at Galen's 4 hours before the fire happened, who is now serving, I believe, 60 years for murder. So I worry. I worry about that scenario as well. And we're going to get into all of that when I cover this case deeper. We're going to talk about all of those things. Yeah. Dakari Turner with Wish 8 News. Please make sure that you guys are subscribed to him. Dakari did a 4-part interview with Galen. If you haven't watched it, please go out and watch it. Dakari has been following this case and has a deep interest in this case, and he will be pivotal as we go forward with our coverage of the Flora case. Women of color have to explain many things, but yes, everybody, they have to explain their sex life. They have to explain why they may have certain significant others in their lives. Why do they work more than one job? Why do they do this? Why do they do that? Women of color are held to a different standard than the average white woman. And all you have to do is see how they're covered and how they're talked about. And there's just there's just an attitude around it, and it's wrong. And we have to call it out for what it is. And I'm done sitting back and not saying anything. When I 4 years ago, when I was doing my Reddit sub, and I would start to talk about Flora at all on my Delphi daughters Reddit sub, I would get called out for don't talk about those 2 cases together. They're completely separate. And I'm like, how can they be completely separate when the same sheriff, the same prosecutors, and the same sheriff deputies all work with the fire department and they're all combined? How can you sit and say that? It just really upsets me. Gail says, behind the crime door, yes, agree, racist, and 4 beautiful angels are gone. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. He may become a bit nicer. He got an earful. That's interesting, CJK. Send me something on that in Discord. Let me know what's going on. He could do so much with that channel, with covering some of these harder cases. And what I mean by that are these cases that are racially motivated, where you're covering cases for Black women, Black children, Indigenous women. He lives in an area in the country where the Indigenous are going missing unbelievably, astronomically, and he could be covering those as well. But again, marginalized um, human beings doesn't bring you dollar signs when you're covering them on YouTube, guys. Okay? It doesn't bring you clicks. It doesn't get you likes. It doesn't get people commenting. It doesn't get people, you know, riled up. It doesn't get people angry. It doesn't. Yep. Yeah. I firmly believe that because he's got friends now from in the ISP because of Delphi. I don't know that that's a moniker that I would want, but that's just me. It is disgusting, John. It is. Before Doug Carter retires, I wish he'd hold a press conference and once more say publicly that Galen is not involved in the arson and call Galen and speak to her one-on-one. I hope that happens too, and maybe we can bring that about. We will work on that. I got some people working behind the scenes on this case, and they've got some pull, you guys. They got some pull. Yep, Dr. Phil thinks he's a doctor also. Yeah, what a joke. What a joke that guy is. Sorry for anybody that likes Dr. Phil, but that guy is no doctor, or not a doctor that I would want to go to. Um uh Vic is free. Vic is Vic is V3. I absolutely disagree with you. I absolutely disagree with you. Um Her father was there. She was looking for a change. And I know she'll talk about why she moved to Flora and what it was that brought her there. But you don't just choose a town and say, "Well, I'm not going to move there because I'm Black and they're racist, so I shouldn't be there." That's not how we change racism. That is not how we do it. Sorry. Um Absolutely, John. I I unsubscribed. I was a paying member of her channel, and I sent her a scathing Twitter, and I sent her a scathing email. I told her how totally disappointed I was in her, and you know what she did? She blocked me. And what was funny about it, I not only the Delphi defense narrative hook, line, and sinker, but she chose to put out on the airwaves Judge Francis Gull's personal email. I don't know who does that. I mean, she doxed a judge. It's ridiculous. And she asked all of her subscribers to email her. You know, crazy, crazy, crazy people. And if you follow them, you got to look in the mirror. Yep. I know some people who live in Brookston. So, yep. One of the things that they say, and people will stand up in that community and in that area and they'll scream they're not racists. But stop and think about it, you guys. We have a narrative down the street 8-9 miles in the Delphi case where they're talking about Odinism and they're talking about um, groups like the Vinlanders that are kind of considered white supremacist type views. when you have that mentality, excuse me, in your community, there's something you have to look at. And I'm not saying that every person that lives in Flora feels this way, but there is a element in that area and that region of Indiana that is alive and well. Indiana is the birthplace of the Ku Klux Klan. For those of you that don't know that history, I highly recommend that you look that up, because I could do an entire year's show on for an entire year and cover the Ku Klux Klan in Indiana, to wake people up, to let them know that it's alive and well, living and breathing in their state, and they still, to this day, deny it. It's okay, Derek. Go ahead. Coach is great. Kev will talk to you. He is not a closed person. He knows that the more people we have talking about Flora, the better. And truly and honestly, we need people like you that care, that are willing to cover this case fact-based, because that's what I need. I'm not looking for people to go out there and jump off the ledge with all kinds of crazy theories and stuff like that. I want the facts, and I want to talk about that. Let's see, guys. I think I'm behind a little bit here. Um, let's see. Let's see. Sean says, I have to carry a cell phone on each side, one for the company and one for my personal business. I feel like Quick Draw McGraw. Boy, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Boy, that sure ages you. Quick Draw McGraw. Kathy says she believes the Stephanie Thompson case was completely accidental. And somebody said something. I mean, one of them was trying to help the other one get out of the house, and they both ended up perishing. But that house went up way, way too fast for it being a house that is in the price range that it is. So it's a fairly new house, and brick. For it to go up the way, I mean, the only thing that was left was the outer shell of the bricks. I mean, it was hot. It burned super hot. So I don't know, but they said it was undetermined. Am I correct remembering that law enforcement wouldn't release the 911 call for Flora even after being successfully sued to release it? Yes, they were successfully sued to release it, but then they appealed that decision all the way to the Supreme Court of the state of Indiana, and the Supreme Court overturned the lower court and said, nope, they don't have to release it. And quite frankly, that is absolutely unheard of. 911 calls are public domain, and they are not something that needs to be suppressed in cases, and they very rarely are. There is something that the Carroll County Sheriff Department did not want out there in that call. What is it? Because there is some reason why they fought to the tune of $60,000 for a county of nearly 20,000 that's already got another case, the Delphi case. We've got two huge cases that are costing millions of dollars for this county. And this county isn't wealthy. I mean, it's not like this huge wealthy county. They sat here and tried to fight tooth and nail with Nick McClelland when he was asking for just a little bit of help with the Delphi case. And they were, giving him all kinds of crap about why did he need this money and what was he going to do with it and all this other stuff. So, yeah, $60,000 they paid to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. And everyone asks, why? What is in or not in that 911 call that made them suppress and keep it sealed? I have my own theories of what it could be. And one of them is this, and I'm going to put it out there on the street. This is just a theory, guys. This is not, I don't have anything to back this theory up. But I have always wondered, what if something happened and the 911 call was not recorded properly, or it didn't go through properly to where they actually have a full recording? What if they don't have proof of when everything was dispatched because they don't have that call? They don't have that call. Would that be a reason to suppress and to fight suppression if you don't have the information to give to the public? It most certainly would. So think about that for a minute. Hey, David Shat, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, the Federal Housing Administration was created by FDR as an institutional arm of directed racism based solely on the color of one's skin, Black folks specifically. It was called redlining. Yes, absolutely. Yep. They were denied home loans based on color. There was just all kinds of things. I mean, we could talk about it till we're blue in the face. But yeah. Hey, Boston, how are you? Thank you for being here, my dear. Thanks. Yes. I can tell you, I have a ton of videos on Flora, and if you go look at my playlists, you'll find them. Hey, Don, how are you? So good to see you. Yeah, 5 water splash pads, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, Mark. Oh, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I hope you're well. I bet you're working a ton, aren't you? Yep. It is terrible, Audra. Yep. And the other thing too is that they won't talk about the case. And they won't talk. You can't get anybody that it's in the know to talk about the case, even though there's no gag order. There's no gag order, but yet they won't talk about it. And in a way, it's kind of like the routine for ISP in Indiana. That's their mode of operandi or operandi, what modus operandi. That's how they roll. They try to keep everything close to the vest. They don't want to share information. Remember, when you don't share information, you can basically do whatever the heck you want to, and nobody says a word because nobody knows what you're doing. All you have to do is say, it's not a cold case. We still get tips. We're still working them. And it's a way for it's a way for police agencies and policing agencies to get around having eyes upon their investigation and how they're handling it or how they're doing it. People talk about botched investigations. How do you even find out if an investigation is being botched when no one will talk about it? And you've got landlord who has suspicious fires in other businesses besides Galen's home. You've got all that going on, and people look at that, people need to look at that. Why would you have $1 million in insurance on a house that was appraised at $35,000? Why would you have to ask a professor of economics at Purdue University what that looks like? But that's what Wish TV did. They asked a Purdue University professor of economics what that looked like to him, and he said fraud. Come on. You don't have to ask them to say that. I mean, it just makes you wonder. You take out all these policies and you do this in August and September of 2016. The house is appraised in late September of 2016. And it's appraised because the bank's asking for it to be appraised, guys. And yes, it was appraised by Becky Patty and Mike Patty's company. But that doesn't have anything to do with Delphi and Flora being together. So don't talk about that. All it was their business. And the bank is the one who used them as the appraisers. They appraised the house for $35,000. And yet here it was insured for all of this money. And they were denied payout on some of those insurance policies, as they should have been, in my opinion. I mean, just, look up the building codes back then. Don't worry, it's a short read. Yeah, I mean, you don't have another thing with this case. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that when they cut that house up and put up walls to make it a 2-family dwelling, which is what they did, and they created the upstairs apartment basically, and then Galen had the downstairs and that one side of the upstairs where the girls' bedrooms were, or bedroom was. And you look at that, and I believe that they did not do that according to code. There should have been some sort of code that would have they should have had to have followed to make sure that that was up to fire code. That house was old. It had probably all kinds of unhealthy type stuff. I'm thinking lead, God knows whatever, because of the age of the home. And you've got them putting up walls that created a horrible situation when this fire started burning. And because of the way that upstairs was, you didn't just go straight up the stairs and go to the girls' room. You had to go up the stairs, turn, go up again, and make another turn to find the girls. It's not good, you guys. It's just not good. And you have to be really careful when you carve up these old houses this way. And then again, they're talking about the electric and, that this was an electrical fire and it was because there was poor electrical work or whatever in the home. Well, not when they find accelerant. And there's accelerant found in this fire and also on a fireman. Sure, you can definitely do that, Jinx, but I think I have them. I think, but go ahead and send it to me. Whatever you have, send it to me. But I do believe I have it. So yeah, I wanted you guys to know I'm going to have Galen on next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, along with Nicole. And she is going to be here with me, and we're gonna talk to Galen. And I hope you guys will all be here for that and all tune in. I'm so looking forward to it. And to be here to support Galen and to let her know that we are here for her. I've been here for her since day one in covering Flora. Never once did I once think that that mother had anything to do with those babies in this fire. And if you watch the dash cam video and you hear her screaming, there is absolutely no way that this woman had anything to do with this crime. And people need to start covering her case. Sorry, guys. It looks like my internet glitched. Sorry. Hey, Don. Thank you so much for your $10 super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Gail, take care. Gail says, oops, sorry. Gail said that she believes it's going to hit Houston as predicted by the Houston News. Just wanted to let us know that it's supposed to hit at 7 a.m. So at least it'll be daylight. That'll be one thing. And I'm glad you did, Gail. Thank you so much. Take care and stay safe. Yes, Black media outlets need to speak more about this, but so does the national news media and not just Black media. White media needs to cover this as well. They're not. And this isn't just a Black problem. This is a huge problem for all of us. And we need to realize that 4 little girls lost their lives here, and it has nothing to do and should have nothing to do with the color of their skin on how we cover the case. CJK said, whomever signed off on changing that house into 2 separate dwellings didn't follow codes. No way. Have they been looked at? They were bribed, in my opinion, to sign off on it if the owner even notified them. Yeah, well, there's not like the nepotism that's in this county. I don't know what the code situation is, but I guarantee you that yeah, the people that were writing the codes or keeping track of the codes, there's little to no codes from what Jinx is telling me. So we'll be looking into that as well. Oh, thank you, Mother of Dragons. So good to have you here. You can tell it's a Florida-based company. The furnace is on the 2nd floor. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Exactly. It's, we have to cover this case. And as Nicole told you, when Nicole was here with me, she's a woman of color, and she will tell you that her community weren't talking about this case, didn't know about this case. How is that possible? Well, it's possible because it's not getting national coverage. Nicole is in Atlanta. So if we get national coverage talking about what happened in Flora, Indiana, then people, don't really have an excuse for not knowing, not covering, and not following. Hey, Deb, good to see you, my dear. Good to see you. Much love being sent to you. Yes, Mitzi, it is so nice to have everyone here. We have a great community here, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone. But anyway, I told you guys that I was going to also talk about Maddie Soto. So I want to move on from Flora, and I want to talk about Maddie Soto. And I don't know how many of you have been following the case, but Maddie is near and dear to my heart for a number of different reasons. And I just felt like I had to absolutely cover her case. Because it's just unbelievable of what this little girl was going through. So for those that are here and that are not familiar with Maddie, Maddie Soto was a 13-year-old girl who had just celebrated her 13th birthday on the 22nd of February this year. And she had a birthday party on the 25th of February. And I believe it was at her grandparents' house. Her mother was at work, and she had this birthday party. And all the pictures that we see of her, hold on, I'm going to share my screen. Hold on a second. Is from is from this party. So this is a picture of Maddie. And I'm just going to leave that right there. So what a beautiful young girl. Beautiful, beautiful young woman. Just coming into her teenage years. She should have been enjoying life to its utmost fullest. And what we've learned of her is that not only was she living with a predator in her home, her mother wasn't protecting her. And I find that repulsive, you guys. I can't even wrap my head around the fact that this little girl was being violently assaulted sexually from the time at least we know of when she was 8 years old by the same man. And Stephen Stearns, or Stephen Stearns, however you want to pronounce his name, because I could really care less at this point, but he is the prime suspect in Madeline's disappearance and murder. She had her birthday party with her grandparents, and that night, her mother's at work. Stephen Stearns is asked to pick Maddie up from the birthday party, and that is what he did. Supposedly, he brings her home back to her own house, and her mom comes home from work and sees her around 11 p.m. that night as she's getting ready for bed. She supposedly talks to her, asks her about her birthday party and all of this stuff, and they go to bed. But they don't just go to bed, you guys. Mom has started a new job, and mom wants to get a good night's sleep. So she asked Stefan and Maddie to go upstairs and sleep upstairs in the same room, in the same bed, because that was a thing, you guys. Maddie, who just turned 13 years old, slept in the same bed with her mom and her mom's boyfriend, who claimed he was Maddie's stepdad because he's been in her life for so many years. The questions that have been brought up by this case is just unbelievable. And the timeline about this case is unbelievable. So on February 26th, Maddie was reported missing around 8 p.m., you guys. 8 p.m. It took that long. After Stefan Stearns, the mother's boyfriend, okay, reportedly dropped her off near Hunters Creek Middle School, okay? Madeline's mom went to pick her up around 4:30 in the afternoon, and the kids are all coming out, and Maddie doesn't come out. And so she doesn't know what's going on. So she gets out and she goes in and she starts talking to teachers and whatever and whatnot. And she finally found out from staff that Maddie never came to school that day. She never made it to school. And also, Maddie's phone had been left at home. On February 27th, the Orange County Sheriff's Office issued a release to the public about Maddie Soto's disappearance, and they asked for information about her whereabouts. So they were asking for the public's help in locating this little girl. And on February 28th, a massive search was conducted by the sheriff's office to try to locate her. The Orange County Sheriff John Mina said that the deputies accessed Maddie's phone, finding information on her phone that indicated she wanted to go live in the woods when she turned 13 years old on February 22nd. This little girl, who should have been looking forward to her teenage years and going into high school soon, wanted to go live in the woods, you guys. She wasn't a happy little girl. He also said that deputies searched the area where she was last seen, okay? Areas where they'd received tips and any areas where their investigative leads took them. Ultimately, the search came up empty. Now, Stefan Stearns said he dropped her off at a church quite a ways away, quite a few blocks away from school, where she would have had to have walked over an overpass to get to school. However, when the sheriff's office went to investigate this, they did see a very grainy footage of a child being dropped off by a vehicle that did not match his, and they couldn't make out the child. They couldn't tell what the child was wearing. It was just too grainy. But they knew that there was somebody, it looked like it was a child, was dropped off around 8:30 in the morning. And around 10 minutes to 9, this child gets up and starts making its way towards the school. So they were assuming that that was Maddie. So when the search came up empty, the sheriff's office announced on February 28th that Stefan Stearns had been arrested as the prime suspect in Maddie's disappearance. In this release, the investigators said that detectives had discovered very disturbing images on Stefan Stearns' phone. And a review of the device's data showed that he had factory reset it not only once, but twice ahead of the time of giving it over to police. The images and the videos on his phone were criminal and sexual in nature, and the detectives were able to pinpoint those crimes to the family's home in Kissimmee, and they had them time and date stamped. There were videos showing abuse, severe abuse to Maddie, going all the way back to when she was 8 years old on his phone. As a result of this, Stephen Stearns was arrested and he was held on no bond. He faced charges of sexual battery and possession of child sexual abuse materials. Stephen Stearns had an opportunity tonight to come clean with detectives and help lead them to information about Maddie's disappearance, Mina said. Her loved ones deserve answers, and the OCSO and the Kissimmee police will not stop until we find her. On February 29th, the affidavit for Stearns' arrest was released, which provided more details about the investigation. According to the affidavit, Stearns told detectives he drops Maddie off in front of Peace United Methodist Preschool at 8:40 a.m. on February 26th, despite the middle school being farther down the street and classes didn't start until 9:30 in the morning. Detectives said this appeared unusual, and while a license plate reader captured Stearns' vehicle at some point, the details about where and when this happened were redacted from the report. In addition, the affidavit shows that Stearns told detectives that he had accidentally performed a factory reset on his phone on February 26th, though investigators were still able to discover images on the device that depicted sexual performance by a child. On March the 1st, during a news conference, he said investigators were confident that Maddie Soto was already dead, having been killed at her Kissimmee home before Stephen Stearns moved her body. According to Mina, there was video evidence showing Stephen Stearns throwing items into a dumpster at the Kissimmee apartment complex where they lived around 7:30 a.m. on February 26th, the day she was reported missing. The sheriff's office later said that it found Maddie Soto's backpack and her school-issued laptop in that dumpster, along with other items. While Stearns had reportedly dropped Maddie off near school that day, Mina explained that wasn't the case, and Stearns was instead spotted driving a vehicle with Maddie's body inside of it. Now, they have him on surveillance at the apartment complex as well as other locations with her body in the front seat. And they know that because of how she was slumped over. And she was slumped over as a person who didn't seem to be awake. We have evidence that Stephen Stearns returned to the complex and Madeline was visible in that vehicle. We believe she was already dead at this time, the sheriff said. After another long search, Orange County deputies finally recovered Madeline's body from a wooded area off Hickory Tree Road in Osceola County. That night, a vigil was held in Madeline's memory near her middle school. Her friends were absolutely devastated at her school of what had happened to her. On March the 2nd, Stephen Stearns waived his first appearance in the Osceola County Court. Instead, he was being represented solely by his attorney, and the judge granted Stearns no bond. Aside from that, the Instagram account for Osceola County Sheriff Marcus Lopez posted a confidential crime scene photo, which the agency later told News 6 had been accidentally shared with the public. And it showed Maddie. The clothes seen in the photo are consistent with the outfit that Maddie was believed to be wearing when she was reported missing on February 26th. A caption below the picture read, "Great day with our seniors," followed by an emoji of a smiley face with a halo. Earlier today, a post was made on social media about a community event for seniors, and an unnamed Osceola County spokesperson said in an email to News 6, in the post, an investigative photo was accidentally included. The photo was immediately removed. We deeply apologize for any confusion or disturbance this may have caused. As with any investigation, the information obtained is confidential, and any mistaken disclosures will be immediately rectified. Former Osceola County Sheriff Russ Gibson, who is running against Lopez in the 2024 election, said the photograph indeed showed Madeline's body. Osceola County Sheriff's officials did not dispute that the photo stemmed from the girl's investigation. On the same day, Nerva Rodriguez, the executive director of the sheriff's office, shared another photograph on her personal Facebook account that showed her posing with Stephen Stearns as he was walking out of a door at the county jail on Friday morning. If God's love has been poured out over your life, don't allow evil to keep you away from what he has prepared for you. A caption above the photo of Stearns and Rodriguez said, "Are you kidding me? What the hell is going on?" That's all I can say. March 5th, the state's attorney's office told News 6 that it had asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to investigate the release of the crime scene photos. March 6th, Kissimmee police announced they were continuing to investigate Maddie Soto's death, and released court records showed that Stephen Stearns is accused of sexually abusing Maddie for years. Despite Stearns' attempts to wipe his phone, investigators were able to recover files showing the sexual abuse, which stemmed back as far as 2022. An arrest warrant affidavit says. Upon reviewing the contents of Stephen's phone, however, several images and videos were located which depicted the missing juvenile. Kissimmee police released a statement that reads as follows: "Our detectives and forensic unit are working tirelessly to uncover the truth behind this heartbreaking incident. At this time, we are unable to release any further information as this remains an active investigation." On March the 12th, the Orange Osceola State Attorney's Office announced that it has filed 60 counts against Stephen Stearns, including the following: 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12, 5 counts of sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years of age, familial custodial authority, 7 counts of lewd or lascivious molestation, 40 counts of unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child, 10 or more images. A pre-trial hearing has been scheduled for April 24th, and a jury trial is slated to begin on May 13th. Kissimmee police told News 6 that they were continuing to investigate Maddie's death. On March 21st, Kissimmee Police Betty Holland, police chief, held a news conference to discuss the progress of this investigation. She described the investigation as very intricate, and the detectives wanted to make sure that they uncover every single fact and the evidence in this case. We don't want to put a timeline on it, basically, because the detectives are very meticulous in what they do, and we want to be sure that everything is uncovered that possibly can be. During the conference, Holland was asked whether Maddie Soto's mother was considered a suspect or a person of interest. In response, Holland said, "Everyone who was close to Madeline is considered a suspect until we have proven otherwise." April the 4th, the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office announced that the autopsy report in Maddie Soto's death couldn't be released due to a state statute deeming it confidential. In addition, audio from the 911 calls involved in the case was released by the Orange County Sheriff's Office. In the 911 calls, 2 different voices can be heard speaking with dispatchers. The Sheriff's Office explained that the callers' identities are confidential under state law. The 911 calls have been combined and can be listened to online. April 24th. The Orange Osceola State's Attorney, Andrew Bain, and Kissimmee Police held a press conference and announced that Stephen Stearns was indicted by a grand jury in the death of Madeline Soto. The evidence shows an individual who was entrusted to keep Madeline safe made calculated moves to dispose of Madeline's belongings and place her body in a wooded area before she was ever reported missing, said Kissimmee Police Chief Betty Holland. State's Attorney Andrew Bain said his office has not yet decided whether it will seek the death penalty against Stephen Stearns in this case. At this time, no additional information has been shared about the investigation. Hang on one second, guys, because a lot more has happened since then. And I'm just trying to get it pulled up here. So despite the deletions that Stephen Stearns did on his phone, detectives said they were able to find some really, really disturbing images and videos showing a child being sexually abused. The detective said that the characteristics of the room where the abuse happened matched those of a room inside Stearns' home where he lived with both the victim and her mother. Metadata from the images indicated that they were recorded in August of 2022 when the victim was just 11 years old. At a news conference after his arrest, detectives revealed that they had surveillance video showing Maddie in her Stearns' car, and they believed that she was already deceased at that time. In an interview, Stearns told WFTV, "I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. That's the last time I saw her. She was rummaging through her backpack." WFTV also spoke to Madeline's mother, Jen Soto, who gave an alternative version of events, saying that she was told that Madeline was spotted walking by the church by the middle school on the cameras, and that they saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and get up and leave. Again, they could not make out that this was Maddie, but it was a child. They didn't see a vehicle or anything else. They just see her walk away around 9 a.m. towards the school, but she never made it. Detectives have not revealed how Madeline died or what may have happened to her, only saying that additional surveillance video appears to show Stearns throwing away Maddie's laptop and backpack into a dumpster, which they were able to recover. There's also video of Stephen Stearns pulling into a parking garage later that morning and removing Maddie's body from the front seat of his car and putting it into the trunk before he drives out to the area where he disposed of her body. And all I can say is this little girl so deserves justice, you guys. Just absolutely heartbreaking. Inside his car, deputies uncovered items such as latex gloves, cloth gloves, a knife, a towel, a rag, and a blanket. According to documents, other items such as a white rope, a trash bag, and a white towel were found in the vehicle's trunk, the documents revealed. On the same day, Orange County detectives collected evidence, including a bottle of masturbation cream, boxers from laundry, a pink strawberry Snuggie, a purple comforter, underwear, and a phone tripod from a residence, the document showed. It did not reveal what home this evidence was collected from, if it was theirs, Maddie's and her mom's, or if it was Stephen's, because he had his own apartment. Madeline was first reported missing by her mother, Jen Soto, on February 26th, after she did not report to class at her Orange County Middle School, and she was supposedly had been dropped off by Stephen Stearns. Now, one of the problems that I have with this case, you guys, is Jen, the mom. She gives strange accounts of this case. When you look at the videos of her being talked to by police early on, first of all, she can't stand still. She's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she really doesn't act like a mom who's distraught about not knowing where her daughter is, and that her daughter had been dropped off at school at 8:40 in the morning. And it's 8 o'clock at night when this is going on, when they're talking to her. And you would think, if it was me, I'd be losing my mind by this. And so she talks about what she saw her wearing. She corrects Stephen, who's standing beside her. And the police officer's asking what she was wearing. And Stephen said she was wearing black jeans. And the mother says, no, she was wearing black shorts. Just stuff like that. And it was just crazy. I mean, she gives the account that she saw her getting ready for school that morning. No, she didn't, you guys. Maddie was already deceased. What's going on here? She allows her daughter, her her soon to be 13-year-old daughter and younger, to sleep in the same bed alone with her so-called boyfriend. I, I mean, come on. What mother in their right mind would think that was okay? And I don't care what kinds of problems Maddie may have had. I don't know if Maddie was on the spectrum. I don't know if, I know they said she was diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know if she had any other issues besides that, but they talked about her not getting good grades at school. Can you imagine why? My God, she's being abused. She's being sexually attacked at home. How could she possibly do well in school? They talk about her not being able to stay awake at school and how she was constantly, it sounds like, how could she possibly not, be awake at school? She wouldn't be able to be if she was being attacked at night, and attacked and sexually abused. It's just crazy. We're going to get into this because as I cover her case, we're going to be looking at some of these interviews, guys, because it's really bothersome to me. I really believe that Jen is culpable in this in some way. I just do. Investigators do believe that Maddie was probably killed before the school day began. Well, obviously, the school day didn't begin until 9:30. She didn't make it to class. But I think that they're saying that it happened that morning. In April, he was indicted, as we know, by the grand jury. And there's a pre-trial conference scheduled for July 10th. The jury trial is currently scheduled for July 16th. And I think that they've asked for more time. I don't think that those dates are the right dates. But uh, the video that they found on his phone helped them get the crucial information that they were needing. And it's very clear, according to the documents that have been released, that investigators were suspicious of Stephen Stearns immediately. That story that he told them just wasn't making it with them. And then when they started going back and finding his car and video of it, and the fact that he was heading to school and then turned around and went back towards the apartment, he said he was going to take her for McDonald's for breakfast that morning, and then she said she didn't want it. And I mean, there's just so much here, you guys. I don't know what a defense will be for this guy, but he is up for the death penalty. The state is seeking the death penalty against Stephen Stearns. And if there's anybody out there that needs to have the death penalty, in my opinion, it would be this man. This man is a complete and utter monster for what he has done to this little girl. She didn't deserve any of it, and she certainly didn't deserve to die because of it. But it makes me wonder if she told him that she was done. I'm 13, I'm not doing this anymore, and I'm going to tell on you. And that's what led to this. I like to think that she was strong enough to tell him that. Hang on a second, because I want to share something with you guys again. Hold on a minute, guys. This case is so heartbreaking. So this is Maddie. Look at that beautiful smile. This is where they located her body, up here in this tree line up here. Stephen Stearns was seen pulled off here, changing a flat tire. And there is him, if you guys didn't know what he looked like. But they do believe that he killed her that Monday morning. Um, and this is when they recovered her body. This is where they found her. And it was found in rural St. Cloud County near Hickory Tree Road. And police and deputies canvassed the area of Osceola County for Maddie. They looked and looked for her. And there was a woman, I believe, that was walking her dog that saw the jeans and saw her legs. And this is Chief Betty Holland from the Kissimmee Police Department that was in charge of the search for her and trying to find her. And this is a picture of them removing him from jail and taking him, I think, from where he was being held temporarily to county lockup, which if you see the video of that, it's also absolutely disgusting because he's in the back of the cop car and he tells the officer, he goes, I had to lay in my cell on a bare floor. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is this guy who's gonna, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Just, he's whining about himself. But he was charged with first-degree murder and rape. And he is being charged with capital murder. They are seeking a penalty. And he has the 60 child abuse, sex abuse related charges. Those in itself would have kept him forever. He's never going anywhere. He's never getting out to do anything to anybody else again. But I like I said, I mean, from what he did and the fact that he's been doing it since she was at least 7 or 8 years old, this guy, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. It'll be real interesting to see if he does end up pleading out. I hope to God they don't give him some sort of a deal where they take the death penalty off the case or off the table and give him life in prison. I hope not, because it's just a horrible, horrible thing. And I hope that we're going to get some answers about what the hell's going on here with her mother, because you guys know me and you know that I'm not about questioning family members and what what they've gone through. But my God, when they were showing Jen Soto these videos of Stephen Stearns, and I know, guys, this is so triggering, with his private parts in her mouth, and they asked Jen, what can you tell us about this picture? Do you notice anything? And she was absolutely refusing to believe it was him. Now, ladies out there and moms and girlfriends, you guys know that your significant other and what they look like. So for her to sit and say, well, I don't think that's him. Are you kidding me? I'm just like, and the fact that, she says in an interview, or some sort of, I don't know if it was a written interview or if this was an actual videoed interview, but she does say that, she was very cautious with Maddie around Stefan in the beginning, but then she kind of lightened up. And over time, they got so close. And Stefan actually said that Maddie would go to him when her and her mother would have arguments or fights. He became her go-to person. And my feeling is that, obviously he was grooming her and whatever, but Maddie was fed up with the abuse. Obviously, it's why she wanted to go live in the woods. And, it's sad that she didn't feel like he could she could tell anyone. And, you know, I've heard this before and, in from different, people, including the detectives who are in my family, but they wish that more moms would be more diligent with their kids when they bring significant others into their lives and to be very, very careful. Um, it's you know what I mean? It's super important that we not subject our children to predators, and you have to be careful. And, you know, I am not against, doing background checks on people or all of that. I mean, I understand why moms would wanna do that, but, um, I know that this does happen, and it happens a lot. And I do know that it happens sometimes and the moms have no idea it's going on, but I'm not so sure that this is the case in this particular scenario. There is just too many questions that mom needs to have to answer. And you know, I hope I'm wrong, but a mother that would allow her daughter from the age of 8 on up to sleep with her boyfriend alone in another room in the same bed, there's something seriously wrong with that. And if she can't see that, then she has definitely got serious issues. Um, but yeah, so we're going to be following this case. It looks like he's going to have a pretrial um, hearing. I think it's been set. Hold on a second. Um, because the prosecutor, um, the former professor of forensic studies at Florida Gulf Coast University, said he will never get out of jail no matter what. They'll never let him out of jail. Um, let's see. I believe that they have um, reset this case for August, though. I think the jury trial is scheduled for August, and he's going to have a pretrial hearing this month. Um, so it was funny because one of the investigators asked Stephen Stearns why his car was seen turning around and going southbound when he should have been going northbound towards the school. And that was 8:10 a.m. And he said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that we had to turn around and go back to Kissimmee because I forgot the gate clicker for their neighborhood." And, you know, eh, just lie after lie after lie this guy has told. Um, I mean, it's just insane, really. Um, so yeah, we should have I think a pretrial hearing is scheduled for the 10th, so that's this week. Um, and we will be looking to see what happens in this case. And I hope that all of you out there that aren't familiar with the case of Flora and the Flora Indiana arson fire case will look it up and educate yourself because we are going places with this case. And there is going to be a lot happening. And I'm so excited to have Galen on with me next Saturday night, you guys. And I don't know, it's just like I said, there's just so much that can be said about these two cases. CJK says, I will never understand men and women who allow their children to be put at risk and also ignore the sexual abuse when they know it's going on. I same here. And somebody I think earlier said, um, I think yeah, Mitzi. Maybe he could knew that the mom was mentally and I'm sure he did. I'm sure he absolutely did. Predators like this, that's what they do. But, there were so many red flags. Come on, you gotta at some point say enough's enough. But yes, we need justice for Kiana, Kiara, Cariel, and Kyani. We need justice for these 4 girls. And we need to see justice through for Madeline and everyone involved in the Madeline case needs to be prosecuted. And if that means mom, then that means mom. In my opinion, she at least put her daughter in grave danger. And um, if she didn't have any idea that this was happening to her daughter, I can understand why she is probably in hiding and losing her mind because she's blaming herself, Um, oh, Mark, thank you so much. Always so good to have you here with me. I'm so glad to see you because I know you don't get to catch lives very often. So it's always good to have you with me. But yeah, I hope everybody had a good 4th of July with your family. I went to a baseball game on Friday night here, and we had a fireworks display afterwards, and that was pretty cool. I spent a lot of it at the pool with my kids, my grandkids, and just kind of hung out. And then I'm kind of like I said, working really diligently on Flora. I'm doing a lot of backstory stuff and getting ready for some big things that are coming our way with Flora. And Nicole, like I said, is helping with that. She is like amazing. She just, she is just like a go-getter and really making things happen and bringing in some professionals that's going to help with this. And I'm happy about that. Yeah, Mustang, I have to agree with you. Mustang said, in this situation, the mother is to blame. No excuses. She sent her daughter up to be set her daughter up to be sexually assaulted and unalived. Absolutely. Absolutely. And for all of you that have been asking me, because I've been getting a lot of emails about my spiders, guys, the spiders are all doing great. I have currently, I have 14 babies that I was able to, that I'm still growing from an egg sac from one of my jumping spiders, my Phidippus regis jumping spiders. And I have another mom who I just took her egg sac away from. She laid an egg sac about 4 weeks ago. And these babies are I'm looking at them right now. They're almost ready to come out of their egg sac. So once they do that, I'll keep them all together for a while until they get through probably their 3rd instar. And that means when they shed their skin, their exoskeletons. And once they do that 3 times, then I separate them because otherwise they eat each other. So that's the update on my spiders. All the tarantulas are doing well. My velvet spiders are doing fantastic, and they're becoming some of my favorite spiders, you guys. Velvet spiders are just like they say. They look like velvet. They're black. They're just amazing little creatures, and they're so fun to watch. And as they get bigger, I will go ahead and start getting some pictures of them so that I can share them with you. Hey, Jamie, long time no see, girlfriend. I'm so glad to see you. So glad to see you. But yeah, I want to do a shout out to Frank Meister for all the work he's doing behind the scenes on Flora. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jinx, thank you so much for everything. You have been absolutely phenomenal, getting me hooked up with Galen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kathy, if you're still in here, much love. We're going to be reaching out to you really, really soon because I need some information. And I know that Nicole is going to be asking for some things from you as well. So yeah, guys, it's happening. We've got some big things going with Flora, and I'm really happy about it because if you go back and 2 years ago, if you look when I was doing my live streams with GonZo and with Perry, Perry and GonZo went to Delphi and then they went to Florida. They went to Flora, and we were working so hard trying to get regional eyes at that time on Flora, and now we're going to get national eyes on it. So I'm really excited. Oh, thanks, Jamie. I feel really good. I hit one of my goals, my big goals, I should say, over the last couple of weeks. And you guys know of my health journey. Those of you that subscribe to me and follow me, you know that 2 years ago in July, if you go back and look at my videos, you can see how unhealthy I was. I was having so much asthma issues. I haven't had asthma in a year and a half. I haven't had any asthma for a year and a half. But I really do feel that I turned the corner on my lung issues. But in July of 2022, I was diagnosed with full-blown diabetes. It had been undiagnosed, and God knows for how long, I believe at least a couple of years, and I was really sick. My A1C was 9.8, and I was just sick. I was not feeling well at all. And so I went to the doctor, got diagnosed, immediately opened up my eyes to my health and the fact that I was nearly 400 pounds. I was 398 pounds, and I was like unable to walk, was basically having to be wheelchaired around. I just couldn't walk. And if I tried to, I couldn't breathe. And things just got crazy. And then you guys know that I had the heart issue where I got diagnosed with SVTs in October of that year. And in December of 2022, I finally got excuse me, a doctor's appointment with my endocrinologist, who I absolutely say saved my life. She absolutely saved my life. She put me on Mounjaro, and I was, hold on one second, guys. I'm getting a message. Hold on a minute. I gotta figure out what this is. Oh, just a minute, guys. No. Sorry. So anyway, they put me on Mounjaro, which is tirzepatide, is the name of the drug. Mounjaro is the name brand. And it's an injection that I do once a week in my stomach. And it was for my diabetes. It was to try and get my diabetes under control. And my A1C started coming down pretty rapidly. And I started losing weight. And so I had my first surgical visit with my bariatric surgeon in August of 2022 to start the process to have the gastric sleeve gastrectomy done, the sleeve gastrectomy. And that's where they cut your stomach away and they make your stomach like the size of a banana, like a really tiny, small banana. And And so I started going through all the classes to do that, which was monthly classes. I had to go through nutrition classes. I had to do a ton of different vitamin levels and different tests. They did every test imaginable on me. And I went through that process for almost a year. And so I lost 82 pounds before I had surgery. And I had my surgery in August of 2023. And I just continued. You guys have watched the progress, and I have just continued over time. I've just continually, I've absolutely lost about, I would averaged a little over 10 pounds a month since this all started. And that's what I've pretty much lost. And this past week and a half, I stepped on the scale because I wasn't weighing myself, because I was just kind of like in a funk. It wasn't like I was mad or anything. I was just like, the scale hasn't moved for a while. And I was kind of feeling like, what's going on? But I was losing inches, and I still work out diligently, and I couldn't figure it out. But I got on the scale, and I dropped 10 pounds from the last time I was on the scale. And I am now below 200 pounds for the first time in 38 years. So for the first time in 38 years, I'm below 200 pounds. And I weighed in at 191. And I'm like, somebody asked me the other day, Kristen, how much more do you want to lose? I don't care at this point. That was my goal, was to be under 200. I have a lot of excess skin, you guys. I have a ton of excess skin, but that's part of my journey. And I don't hate it. It's not like I'm like really upset about it. I have a ton of it on my stomach. And I'm going to get that probably removed at some point. And so somebody asked me, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, if I have all that skin on my excess skin on my stomach removed, that's probably going to be 20 pounds. So I really probably only want to lose maybe 30 to 35 pounds more, maybe. But I don't really care. I'm just going to let my body tell me where I need to be, because that's basically what I've been doing. I don't do anything different. I just don't eat a lot. I mean, when I do eat, I eat very small amounts of food, and I'm absolutely full and I don't have cravings. The Mounjaro took all of my head hunger away and my cravings. And my A1C, when I had it done last, was 4.6. I'm absolutely not a diabetic anymore. Even though it'll follow me for the rest of my life on my medical chart, I'll always be known as a diabetic. I'm not diabetic anymore. So I absolutely reversed it. So it can happen, you guys. I would not be able to say this had it not been for my insurance that paid and covered the Mounjaro, because it's $1,300 a month for that shot. And you take it four shots a month, one a week. It's very expensive. And I absolutely wish that there were people out there screaming for this, because this will change diabetics' lives. This is not Ozempic, you guys. This is not the same drug. It is a completely different drug. It's similar. It works similar to what Ozempic does, but it is not Ozempic. And it does not have the same side effects that Ozempic has. I had zilch side effects from this. The only side effects that I ever had was the first day and a half after I took my shot. I had some nausea, but that went away months after taking it. So that's my update, you guys, for everybody I've been having so many people ask me about my progress and where I'm at. And like I told everyone here that's followed me, that loves me, whatever, you're never too old to try and get healthy. And I'm going to be 63 years old in October. And I feel like I took 25 years off my life. I mean, seriously, I had my knee replacement surgery done in April, on April 16th. And you guys, It's amazing. I have very little to no pain in my knee at all anymore. And the pain or twinges that I get now is nothing compared to what it was when I had my knee before, the pain I was in before I had my knee done. So that was my last really big thing that I needed to do so that I could really work out the way I wanted to. And I can't say enough about our mental health and how it's correlated with our physical health. And if you're not feeling good physically, it takes a toll on you mentally, and vice versa. Your mental health dictates your physical health. And because you guys, I gained 140 pounds after I lost my parents. So September and October of 2017, I lost both parents and I put on 150 pounds. From that point through COVID, I mean, absolutely was just devastating. And so I know what that is. And for all of you that are out there that watch me that may have issues with food, I used food to fill the holes where my son is missing from my life. I started using food to do that. And, um, you know, I knew it was not what I should be doing, but I got those endorphins. It's a big deal when you're eating all that crap and it's giving you all I mean, believe it or not, food is as addictive as morphine or worse. And in this country, we have so much of it to it. I mean, just look at your portion sizes and look at all the stuff that we consume. We're such a consumable nation. We consume everything. And it's just like, I love when people say, well, did you get a bang for your buck when you went out to eat? Really? I mean, stop and think about it. Do we really need that much food when we go eat? Um, I used to be a person that liked buffets. It makes me sick at my stomach to even think about one now because there's no way that I could. I mean, I eat like about that much food at a sitting. That's it. So yeah, but I just want everybody that watches me to know you can do it too. I'm not somebody special. I don't have any secret weapon or anything. Did I have help? Yeah, I have tools in my toolbox. I have the Manjaro as a tool, and I had my weight loss surgery. But if I didn't do all the right things, that surgery would be absolutely useless to me. I still have to do the right things. And for people to say or think that everything that I've done is an easy way out, you guys, even owning up to it and admitting where I was is hard. It's really hard. But you guys have watched it. Those of you that have followed me from January of 2020 when I started my channel, you guys know where I've been. You've watched this progress, and I can't deny it. And why would I want to, and why would I not want to share it with others? So if any of you out there are struggling, or any of you out there feel like you need help or you want ideas or whatever, please reach out to me. All you have to do is email me. I'll share with you whatever I possibly can to help you, because I am pain-free, Boston. I must admit, I'm still old. Don't get me wrong. I still wake up some days with aches and pains, especially if I work out too hard. But it's just what I mean by you have to really take a deep look at yourself when you start going through this, and you got to start loving yourself again. And that was really hard for me. It was really hard for me at first. But I'm loving life. I'm living my best life is what I'm saying, is what I like to say. And and I'm glad that I'm still here with you and able to be here, because I do feel that I was one foot in the grave. I was that sick and I was having so much issues and stuff. Um, you know, and everybody tells me that they see it in my smile. And I think that doesn't lie. You can see how happy someone is just by how they smile. So I wish every one of you a good evening. Thank you for spending your Sunday night with me. I know it was like a late Saturday night or Sunday night for us, and it was late notice. So for all of you guys that just came right in and jumped in on the Flora stuff with me, thank you. Make sure you share, and talk about Flora. Talk about it on the streets of Delphi. When you guys are in those Delphi chats, talk about Flora. Ask the content creator that you're listening to, hey, are you going to start covering Flora? Why not? Put them to the test, guys. Aw, Jinx, thank you so much. Well, I've lost a lot more. So since you saw me, I've lost almost 40 pounds since you saw me in April. So, hey, Harvey. Yes, life can throw us absolute curveballs, and we just never know. And I lost my son. You guys who know me and love me know I lost my son to cancer. He was 4 years old, and I think that he is my biggest champion, because I can hear him telling me, Mom, keep going for these families. Mom, keep sharing these stories, because it's important, and it's important work. And so I really believe that Adam left me here to do that. He led me down this path to start this channel to help families. So, guys, have a good evening, and thank you so much for being here. And for everyone who donated tonight, thank you so much. Love you guys. Good night, everybody.